My next patron question is from Trevor, who presents an intriguing what-if scenario. My question revolves around the recent talk of WB and Paramount merging. I don't want Paramount or any studio to merge with one another, but it seems like Paramount's financial situation leaves them in a place where a merger with another company is inevitable. If they have to merge with any company, I think the best one would be Netflix. I could see each one benefiting from the other's presence in a way that also benefits the consumer. Netflix and Paramount Plus could combine into a robust streaming service, while Paramount could potentially handle theatrical releases of Netflix films. And since both companies have had their share of financial troubles, I could see them both being open to the idea of a merger with each other. What do you think would happen if Paramount and Netflix were to merge? Again, I don't necessarily want this to happen, but if a merger has to happen, I think this would be the best scenario. Like Trevor, I'm not particularly fond of the idea of any more of these studio mergers happening. I think there have been too many, and in the end, it's the employees who wind up being hurt by these mergers, as so many get laid off in the aftermath. When I saw the reports of Warner Brothers and Paramount discussing a potential merger, I was not pleased with this one bit, and I hope it does not come to pass. Looking at the scenario of Paramount and Netflix merging, I think a number of things would happen. They might do what Disney has long done with D Plus and Hulu and offer a bundle option, but I think the more likely event is that Paramount Plus would shut down and Netflix would get everything from that service. So you would see a bunch of Paramount movies being added. There's also the free, ad-supported streaming service Pluto TV, but I think Netflix would keep that around. Fast services have become a notable revenue stream, and Pluto would be an additional way to make money, as it is quite popular. It also functions closer to a television model rather than on-demand, so it does not compete directly with Netflix's platform. Then you have the additional perks like their television channels. Netflix does not have any linear television networks, so they would not run into any potential antitrust concerns with that. These include CBS, BET, NTV, and Comedy Central. I think Paramount's most valuable television asset is definitely Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon is a brand that has so much cross-generational appeal, and Netflix does have a history of licensing Nick programming. The recent Invader Zim, Loud House, and Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies and the Rocko's Modern Life special even premiered on Netflix. Nickelodeon is already going into that vault and bringing back shows, even ones they've already milked dry like The Fairly Odd Parents, so Netflix would certainly follow suit on that. And they would probably love to have more of the classic animated series, game shows, and sketch shows on there. Another major Paramount asset is Star Trek. Like Nickelodeon, they have a prior association with that franchise, as many of the television series are streaming on Netflix in several countries. Star Trek Discovery was even licensed to Netflix in many international territories upon its premiere. And when Paramount Plus canceled the animated series Star Trek Prodigy and removed it from the service, Netflix picked it up. So they would definitely do a lot with that iconic franchise were they to get the rights. Unfortunately, if Netflix were to merge with Paramount, I cannot see the company giving their films traditional theatrical releases anymore. Netflix has made it clear they want to primarily be in the streaming game. The times they put movies in theaters, it's usually at the request of the filmmakers or to qualify for Oscars. And even then, they were not the usual theatrical releases that play for several weeks with a splashy marketing push. When Glass Onion played in theaters, it was only for 1 week, and then people had to wait a month until its Netflix debut. Again, I think that was mainly to please Rian Johnson, but I think they left a lot of money on the table. Knives Out was a big hit in theaters, and Glass Onion reportedly performed very well during its single-week release. Netflix missed out by doing that minor release, and it probably would have made at least $100 million if it got a normal run, and then premiered on Netflix a few months later. Glass Onion at least got a wide release. Most people were lucky to have caught Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio or All Quiet on the Western Front or May December at the local multiplex. Movie theater chains already have a contentious relationship with Netflix, and they'd probably hate it if they acquired Paramount. Would Netflix even be interested in buying Paramount? That's the question. Quite a few companies are reportedly talking to Sherry Redstone about buying the studio. One is Warner Brothers Discovery, but the other is Skydance Media. David Ellison and his company already have a lengthy relationship with Paramount that has benefited them both. While they would not be my top choice, I would personally be less opposed to Skydance buying it than Warner Brothers, as they are not a major studio and would recognize its value. Whoever ends up buying Paramount and its massive portfolio in the future, my only hope is they recognize the storied legacy that studio has and treats it correctly. Thank you for your question, Trevor.